Imagine if I asked you to draw a square circle. You can say the words and you can write them down on paper, but you could never draw it or even conceive of it. Why? It's not because you lack the skill, but because the concept itself is logically contradictory. The circle, by its very nature, refuses to be a square, and the square, by its very boundaries, refuses to be a circle. Today, we will apply this rigorous logic to one of the most monumental concepts in human thought, the relationship between the infinite and the finite. Let us pause at a simple and intuitive question, yet one that carries immense physical and mathematical depth. Can we logically place the infinite within the finite? Can a small vessel contain content that is infinitely larger than itself? If the intuitive answer is no, then how do we raise the stakes of the inquiry to their ultimate limits? Is it possible for the absolute truth, which created time and space, to confine itself within a material mold, a human body governed by time and space? The question here is not about power, but about essence. Does the infinite remain infinite if it is subjected to the boundaries of a physical body? Or are we facing a logical impossibility that renders the very idea of material incarnation a collapse of the concept of divinity itself? Let us reflect on this paradox from the perspective of the vessel and the content. In our physical world, the golden rule is the vessel cannot contain what is greater than itself. So how can it be if the content is infinite and the vessel is human? Here, three logical obstacles emerge that make incarnation a collapse of the concept of divinity. 1. The spatial paradox. As soon as we say the Creator has incarnated into a human body, we automatically assign it geometric boundaries, length, width, weight, and location. Mathematical logic dictates you cannot be omnipotent and at a single specific location at the same time and in the same sense. If the Creator is confined within the limits of human skin, he ceases to be infinite. He has become a body occupying space, and a body always lacks the one who created its space. The temporal prison. The Creator, by logical definition, is the one who created time. He is the first before whom there is nothing. A human body, conversely, is a temporal being par excellence. It is born, grows, ages, and dies. If you shackle the Creator within biological cells, you subject him to the passing of seconds and minutes. You make the eternal governed by an hourglass. Can God remain God if he becomes a captive of a historical moment? Independence versus dependency. This is the most sensitive point. Divinity implies absolute independence from all else. A body, however, is the definition of absolute dependency. It needs oxygen to breathe, food to live, and an environment for shelter. When you say the infinite became human, you are saying the independent became needy. Rigorous logic tells us that one who is needy cannot be God. For God is the foundation upon which all existence rests. If he, in turn, rests upon a lung, a heart, or nourishment, then the very definition of divinity collapses at its roots. Simply put, attempting to merge infinity with the number one into a single entity is not a sacred mystery, but a logical suicide. Either the infinity is no longer infinite, or the number one is not real. The two cannot coexist in a single truth. Having examined the logical impossibility of confining the infinite within the finite, we arrive at a deeper question. Why do we insist that incarnation diminishes the status of the Creator? In Western thought, incarnation is sometimes viewed as an act of love or closeness. However, by rigorous logic, this act undermines the perfection of divinity from three dangerous angles. 1. The dilemma of becoming. In philosophy, a perfect being does not change because change implies a transition from one state to another. If the Creator transitions from absolute spirit to a material body, it means either that he was incomplete and needed the body to reach perfection, or that he was perfect and became diminished by incarnation. In both cases, you undermine the attribute of absolute perfection. A God who becomes something he was not is a God subject to change, and change is a trait of creatures, not the Creator. 2. The sanctity of transcendence. The Creator is the architect. Does the architect need to turn into a brick inside the building to understand its quality or to be close to it? By confining the Creator within human biology, eating, drinking, and suffering, you make the master of laws subject to the laws. You turn the Creator from a sovereign over matter into a prisoner within it. This is not an act of drawing near to humans, rather it is lowering the Creator to the level of human weakness, which contradicts the essence of divinity, which must remain the absolute reference, far removed from any imperfection. 3. The degradation of majesty. Let us reflect on this paradox. In our world, we respect the great by the extent of their transcendence above trivialities. How much more so for the Creator of existence? Imagining God in the form of a being that falls ill, gets tired, and needs sleep is not an elevation of humanity, but a dismantling of the awe of divinity. True respect for the Creator lies in his exaltation, that is, acknowledging that he is too great to be reduced to protein and DNA. The truth that must be faced is this: we do not need a God who resembles us in our weakness to love us. Rather, we need a God who transcends our weakness to save us. Incarnation is a human attempt at anthropomorphism, while logic compels us to uphold the divinity of the Creator and exalt him above any resemblance to created things. If logic forbids confining the Creator within a limited body, does this mean that God is distant and detached? On the contrary, the logical and more refined alternative is revelation, not incarnation. 1. Representation versus manifestation. In the world of communication, a king does not need to turn into a written letter for his voice to reach his subjects. Rather, he sends an ambassador to carry his words. Philosophically, the word is the superior bridge. The Creator communicates with us through the meaning and the message he places in the hearts and minds of the human beings he has chosen, the messengers. This preserves the sanctity of the Creator and his position above matter, while simultaneously providing humanity with a mental and spiritual curriculum that is not confined to a single human body in a single time. The dignity of reason. Incarnation asks you to believe without understanding, blind faith, in a logical contradiction. Revelation, however, addresses your reason. It tells you, I am your Creator, and this is my path. The philosopher and physicist Blaise Pascal said, "Faith tells us what the senses cannot perceive, but it does not contradict what they do perceive." Divine revelation presents a God who is near in his knowledge, near in his hearing and sight, and near in his mercy, without having to descend into the constraints of human biology. Proximity here is existential and moral, not physical and spatial. Universality versus locality. Incarnation confines God to one geographical spot, one time, and one body. Revelation, however, is a light that spreads through every time and place. When we transcend the idea of incarnation, we open the door to a direct relationship between every human being and their Creator, without the need for a material intermediary or a God-man standing in between. You do not need to touch the body of the Creator to believe in Him. You need to touch His trace in your universe and within your own self. Conclusion. Divine communication through revelation is an act that honors the intellect, whereas incarnation is an act that disables logic. A God who is not confined by a body is the only one who can be with everyone, at all times and in every place, without ever descending from the throne of His majesty. Having dismantled the logical impossibility of incarnation, some might ask, does not man yearn to see his Creator? Does he not need something tangible to fill his heart? Here, Islam offers the most pure and beautiful vision in the history of religions. We do not believe in a God who shrinks to become a human we can touch, but we believe in a human who ascends so that the lights of the Creator may be revealed to him. 1. Vision without containment. We believe with certainty that the believers will see their Creator in the hereafter. Yet it is not a vision of a limited body or a human form. As Imam al-Ghazali said, the vision of God is the ultimate happiness, and it is a vision transcendent of modality, direction, or confinement. Logically speaking, you see the sun, but you do not contain it. You see light, but you do not grasp it. The vision of God is a sacred unveiling of the divine essence as it is in its greatness, without being imprisoned in a material mold. 2. Absolute beauty versus physical image. Incarnation confines divine beauty to a single human face with specific features. In the pure monotheistic or Tawhidic perception, however, God is the source of beauty that no image can resemble. When believers see their Lord, they do not see a person like themselves. They see absolute perfection, before which all images vanish. This is the true meaning of proximity, that the Creator elevates you to Him rather than Him descending into the constraints of your biology. 3. Direct connection. In Islam, we do not need a God-man to serve as an intermediary between us and the Creator. God in Islam is closer to us than our jugular vein. He hears the beating of your heart without needing human ears, and He has mercy on your weakness without needing a body that suffers. This is pure monotheism. A great God who is transcendent above matter, yet is near by His knowledge and mercy to every atom in existence. Final conclusion. Ultimately, the choice is yours. Either a God who incarnated and thus became limited, needy, and subject to the laws of matter He created, or a transcendent God, great enough that no place can contain Him, yet He fills hearts with His light and promises His beloved ones the vision of His noble countenance, a beauty that eyes cannot grasp in this world, but which souls will be able to bear in their majesty in the hereafter. The glorification of the Creator begins with tanzih, declaring Him free of imperfection. Subhanallah, who no place contains, no time limits, and who encompasses all things.